After the betrayal, Chioma swore off love, her heart hardened by the pain she had endured. But fate had other plans. On a quiet evening, while walking alone by the river, she crossed paths with a man whose presence made her heart flutter in a way it hadn't in years. His name was Ode, and his eyes held secrets she was too intrigued to resist. Days turned into weeks, and Chioma found herself drawn to Ade's quiet strength and soothing words. He seemed to know her heart without her having to speak. But there were moments, fleeting, strange moments, that made her question the reality of their connection. Ade's sudden appearances and disappearances became too frequent to ignore. Late one evening, as they parted ways, Chioma noticed something strange. Ade left no footprints on the damp ground. Her heart skipped a beat, but she brushed it off as a trick of the light. Yet, as days passed, more signs emerged. His voice seemed to come from nowhere, and on some nights, she could see her breath misting in the cold air whenever he was near. Unable to shake the feeling that something was wrong, Chioma began to ask questions. She visited the elders, searching for answers. What she uncovered chilled her to the bone. Ode was not a man of flesh and blood. He was a spirit, tethered to the earth by unfinished business. Her heart, which had dared to hope for love again, shattered once more. Confronted by the truth, Chioma demanded answers from Ode. "Why did you come into my life?" she asked, tears in her eyes. Ade's expression was pain as he revealed his story. He had once been a man, deeply in love, but had died tragically before he could fulfill a promise to his own beloved. His soul had lingered, seeking solace in the living. But he had fallen in love with Chioma, never intending to deceive her. Torn between her feelings for Ode and the reality that they could never truly be together, Chioma knew she had to let him go. "I need to move on," she whispered, her voice trembling. Ade, though heartbroken, understood. His form began to fade, leaving Chioma standing alone beneath the stars, her heart heavy with grief yet resolved to face the future without him. After Ade's departure, Chioma was left lost, her heart once again in turmoil. She wandered the village in a daze, questioning her own judgment, questioning love itself. How could she ever trust her heart again? The betrayal she had endured before, and now this, how could she move forward when the very idea of love felt like a cruel joke? Chioma sought solace in solitude, spending more time by the river where she had first met Ode. The quiet waters mirrored her grief, but they also gave her time to think. Maybe love wasn't meant for her, or maybe she needed to heal from her wounds before she could truly find it. For now, she would focus on herself, on rebuilding her life without the weight of heartbreak. Though her heart still ached, Chioma found strength in her journey. She realized that love, while beautiful, could also be painful. But it didn't define her, she did. And as the days passed, she began to feel a glimmer of hope. Perhaps one day, she would find a love that wasn't fleeting or mysterious. Until then, she would live for herself, for her dreams, and for the life she had yet to create. Years had passed since Chioma had walked the dusty paths of the village that once held all her pain. The sky was grey with the weight of an approaching storm, and the familiar sounds of the market, the whispers of the trees, and the distant calls of children filled her senses. But beneath the ordinary hum of village life, Chioma felt something darker, a tension in the air that she couldn't quite place. She had returned not just as the woman they had once known, but as a force far beyond what anyone could have imagined. As Chioma moved through the village, she overheard the whispers, rumors of a cursed family. The elders spoke in hushed tones, shaking their heads in pity. "It's a tragedy," one woman murmured. "Their children, all 3 of them, born with a curse that no healer can lift." Chioma paused, her heart sinking. Could it be? She asked around and soon discovered the names she feared most, Adikonle and Bola. Chioma's heart raced as she approached the once beautiful home of Adikanle and Bola. Her steps faltered as memories of betrayal flooded her mind. But she pushed forward, her resolve stronger than the hurt. She had faced greater demons since then, both within and without, and she would face this one too. When Chioma finally saw Adikanle and Bola, they were not the same people she remembered. Adikanle's face was lined with desperation, and Bola's eyes were hollow with grief. The triplets, once a blessing to the village, were now a source of dread. The children's faces were pale, their eyes clouded as if the light of life had been stolen from them. The village believed the curse was a punishment for something unspeakable. Adikanle's voice cracked as he spoke. "We've tried everything, Chioma. Every spiritualist, every healer, nothing works. The curse, it's destroying them." Chioma stood in silence, her heart a mixture of anger and pity. He dared to ask her for help after everything. But when she looked at the children, her anger softened. They were innocent, victims of a curse they didn't deserve. Adikanle and Bola had resorted to every known spiritualist and healer in the region, traveling far and wide in search of a cure for their children. But none could break the curse. Chioma listened as Bola described the endless prayers, the desperate sacrifices, and the rituals they had performed, all to no avail. The spiritualist had failed them. Chioma stood at the crossroads of her past and her future. She had every reason to walk away, to leave Adikano and Bola to their fate. After all, they had betrayed her in the worst way imaginable. But Chioma was no longer the broken woman they had hurt. She had grown beyond her pain, and with the powers she now held, she had the ability to help the innocent children. The question was, would she? That night, Chioma sat by the river, her mind racing. Ade appeared beside her, his presence as calming as ever. "What should I do?" Chioma asked. Ade's ghostly form shimmered in the moonlight. "The choice is yours, Chioma," he said softly. "But remember, power is only as good as the heart that wields it. You have the chance to break this cycle of pain. But you must decide if it's worth it." Bola's tears fell as she pleaded with Chioma. "Please, I know what we did to you was unforgivable. But these children, they don't deserve this. They are suffering, Chioma. I beg you, help us." Chioma saw the anguish in Bola's eyes, a mother's desperation to save her children. And in that moment, she knew what she had to do. With a deep breath, Chioma made her decision. She stood before the triplets, her hands glowing with the power she had been given. She could feel the curse that clung to them, dark and heavy. And with a single touch, she began to unravel it. As the light spread from her fingertips to the children, Chioma whispered a prayer, not for Adikanle or Bola, but for the innocent lives that had been caught in the crossfire of their sins. Just as Chioma's glowing hands touched the triplets, she felt an overwhelming force push back. The room grew cold, unnaturally cold. The light in her hands flickered, and a dark, ominous energy swirled around the children, stronger than she had anticipated. Something was wrong. Terribly wrong.
What do you think will happen to Chioma and the triplets? Watch out for part 4. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.